And welcome to Monmore Green, Wolverhampton for tonight's second test match between England and the USA. The Sunbright Lions already one up in this three-match series. Here's their side four this evening, featuring the reigning British champion Gary Havelock there at number 5. He top scored in the first test with 16 points on his own track at Bradford. And included in number 8, a call-up there for Andy Galvin, a tribute to his bravery really. He's only just returned from a badly broken leg. Well, the United States side tonight, rather depleted. They've got several injury problems, and they'll be looking to the likes of Charles Ermolenko and Ronnie Corey to fly the flag for them. Both these riders regularly appear here at Wolverhampton. There's also a debut tonight for the USA for Donny Odam, his very first appearance in the UK. So the Americans really with continuing problems here this evening, even before a wheel is turned. USA champion Rick Miller injured in the first test. It's still unfit. Sean Moran also injured, and to add to their problems, Wolverhampton number 1 Sam Ermolenko has had to withdraw with a knee problem. Still, we've got one Ermolenko riding. That's younger brother Charles. Here he is preparing for Heat 1. Charles Ermolenko in white, Greg Hancock in yellow-black. That's the American duo. For England, it's Kelvin Tatum in the red, Chris Louis in blue. The tapes rise, the charge into the first turn. It is the Americans away well here in the opening race. And it's Greg Hancock, the first to show in the yellow and black helmet colour. Ermolenko up there as well in second. But it's Tatum just sliding through on his inside. And Ermolenko just overcooking that corner a little bit, allowing Tatum the chance to split the Americans. It's Kelvin Tatum, England's number 1, in second place. But the leader, Greg Hancock, rides for Cradley in the Sunbright League Division 1. Scored 7 points in the first test. The race really on still for second place. Hancock's well clear, but Tatum really unable to shrug off the attentions of Ermolenko. Tatum still holding second place then for the Sunbright Lions. But quite a gap between Hancock and Tatum back in second. Hancock number 2 on his back, but he takes the checkered flag in first position. Greg Hancock, the winner of tonight's first race here at Monmore Green. And with Ermolenko coming home in third place, that's an opening 4-2 for the USA.
Greg Hancock, well done. First ride, great win. You guys are going to be up against it without Sam Ermolenko, though.
Yeah, it's going to be really tough without Sam tonight. We are really unfortunate to lose him with his knee injury. But the thing is, I think it just gave us even more of a boost that we want to beat these guys even with more, you know, under our capabilities not so good. But I think that everybody's going to be given 150%. And with Ronnie here and all the guys that ride here normally, it's going to be good.
Well, the track looks great. We've seen some good racing. We should see some more.
Yeah, the track's brilliant, and I'm sure you will see plenty.
So the riders preparing now for heat number 2, the meeting to be raced over 18 heats in all. And the riders most easily identified by their helmet colours, England in red and blue throughout. The USA riders, meanwhile, appear in the white and yellow-black striped helmet colours all through. There's the England pairing for this one. It's Joe Screen and Martin Dugard in red and blue. And Billy Hamill and Donny Odom for the USA. Away they go, and what a good start for the rider in red, Martin Dugard, and also for his partner, Joe Screen. Both Englishmen away well in Heat 2. And they leave the Americans in their wake. It's Joe Screen just back there in second place. Dugard, the leader for England. So the USA opened up here tonight with a 4-2, but England hitting back here in the second race in the most emphatic style. Dugard, the leader. Screen just back there in second place, and this England pairing really carving up the Americans. And it's Billy Hamill in the white, back there in third position. Dugard leads it. Second, Screen. And third, Billy Hamill of the USA. And Donny O'Donnell, his first appearance in this country, making no impact at all. So a victory then for Martin Dugard, and with Joe Screen playing a fine supporting role there also for England. The Sunbright Lions clocking up a 5-1, which puts them ahead in this second test by 7 points to 5. Good victory there for Dugard. So we move on to heat number 3. Gary Havelock there in red. Paul Thorpe, his partner for England, in blue. In the white helmet colour for the USA is Ronnie Corey. Home track specialist, of course, rides in the Sunbright League here for Wolverhampton. And it's Bobby Ott of Eastbourne who's in yellow-black. So it's the England boys on positions 1 and 3 at the gate. Paul Thorpe, the nearest to the camera. Just waiting for those tapes to rise. There they go. And a good start by the Americans here. White and yellow and black. Bobby Ott out in front. And in fact, it's Ronnie Corey just leading now in the yellow and black helmet colour from Bobby Ott up there in second place. And back in third is Gary Havelock. Ronnie Corey, number 6 on his back, leading. So the Americans looking good here in heat 3, providing there are no mishaps. They seem to be on the way to a 5-1. So America leading it comfortably, but drifting out way wide there, Bobby Ott. And that has allowed Gary Havelock to come through into second place. So all sorts of happenings there on the final lap, but it's Ronnie Corey on his home track who takes the checkered flag, the winner. And Bobby Ott slipping by the wayside, allowing Paul Thorpe and Gary Havelock both to come through. So it's a shared 3 points apiece. England leading by a couple. They've got 10 points, USA 8. And the riders now coming into line for the next one, heat 4. Joe Screen in red, Martin Dugard in blue, Greg Hancock in yellow-black, and Charles Ermolenko there in white. So the tapes rise, into the first corner they go. It's a tight-looking start, and Dugard has the outside line, but he's lost it. It's the rider in white, Sir Charles Ermolenko, nipping through. Ermolenko leads it from Dugard in second. Screen tailed off at the back, but he's certainly not out of it, making a real fight, and Screen going through. So it's Joe Screen now making up ground. Dugard is just ahead of him. Dugard in blue, Screen in red, and in yellow and black is Greg Hancock, the first race winner here tonight. But England have fought the way through here, particularly Joe Screen, who's gone on now to take the lead just ahead of Martin Dugard. Screen leads it, Dugard second, and third, Greg Hancock. That's the order, the riders on the final lap. And Joe Screen, just 18 years of age, wins heat number 4. What a fine prospect for the future for England. He's qualified for the World Under-21 final this year, and really is one to watch out for. Hailed as a wonder boy a couple of years ago when he entered the sport, just 16 years of age, fresh face, just out of school. And Joe Screen, a victory there in heat 4. So with England leading by 6 points, here we go with heat number 5. Gary Havelock in red, Paul Thorpe, his partner, in blue. White is Billy Hamill, and in yellow and black, Donny O'Donnell. He's over here on holiday. Great friend of Billy Hamill's, incidentally, Donny O'Donnell. He's never ridden in the Sunbright League, never ridden in the UK on a competitive basis. He's keen to do so, so we understand. Well, a chance for him tonight, but really, well and truly in at the deep end. Here we go then with heat 5. Would start into the turn. Oh, what a nasty one there, and it's Paul Thorpe who gets the worst of it. A nasty looking collision, and Paul Thorpe went down very heavily. Well, it'll be interesting just to have a look at that again to see exactly what happened. Here we can see it once more. Paul Thorpe in blue, the rider coming off gate 3. And into the turn they go. He gets into an awful tangle there, loses complete control, down he goes, and the bike really coming down very heavily on top of him. Well, that is a very sad, sad picture indeed. A great shame for Paul Thorpe. Obviously feeling the full effect of that injury. Looks as if he's got a leg problem, as well as many other bruises, I'm sure. But that's sad for Paul Thorpe, because he really is having a quite excellent season. He's already qualified for his first ever world final. And preparing in the pits here, this is Mark Lorham, who's going to come in for Paul Thorpe. There was no exclusion. The referee said a restart with all 4. Obviously, Paul Thorpe unable to, so Mark Lorham, one of the 2 reserves tonight for England, coming into the action to wear blue. So the revised lineup, it's Gary Havelock in red, Mark Lorham coming in to replace the injured Paul Thorpe in blue, Billy Hamill in white, Donny O'Dom in yellow-black. So an earlier entry that he would have anticipated for Mark Lorham. Let's see what he makes of it. Well, he's got off to a good start, the rider in blue. It's Lorham who leads it from Billy Hamill in second place. What an entry for Lorham. Thrust in really at the deep end with Thorpe unable to go. And Lorham rides for Kings Lynn. Another one of those bright young Englishmen to keep a watch on for the future. Leads it. What a fine action shot of poison balance. Oh, that wasn't so much poison balance. Donny O'Dom taking a close look at the Monmore Green circuit. Up front, meanwhile, Lorham in trouble, and he's lost it. Round the outside roars Billy Hamill. Gets the grip on the outside, and it's Hamill now who takes up the running. Lorham, well, it isn't over yet. Just a couple of lengths between the pair of them. Can Lorham get back on terms? The early pace setter now pegged back to second as Hamill jets through. There's the checkered flag. Hamill wins it for the USA. Mark Lorham second. Third, Gary Havelock. That's an all-square result in heat number 5. And it means that England lead by 18 points to 12. Billy Hamill through from second to first. So moving on now to heat number 6 of tonight's test match action from Wolverhampton. And the riders coming into line. Remember, it's the USA in white and yellow-black, the England boys in red and blue. So it's Kelvin Tatum in red, Chris Louis in the blue helmet colour, Ronnie Corey in white, and Bobby Ott in yellow-black. Let's see what sort of start they make here. The tapes rise quickly and away they go. Good start from the rider in blue, Chris Louis, but he's quickly headed by yellow-black. That's Bobby Ott. Louis and Ott, and a good race developing between the pair of them. Louis in the blue and Ott in yellow-black. Louis from Ott, and third place in the white helmet colour just coming through, Ronnie Corey. So that means no place in the front 3 at the moment for the England rider in red. That's Kelvin Tatum, and that's a bit of a surprise here in heat 6. Although it's only fair to say that Kelvin is a little bit out of sorts at the moment. He's been rather suffering health-wise for the last few days. Probably isn't really feeling quite on top of the job. This young man is, though. It's Chris Louis leading comfortably. They're on the final lap. Louis now edging well clear of Bobby Ott. And a victory here for Chris Louis in heat number 6. Second, Bobby Ott. Third, Ronnie Corey. That's an all-square 1-3 apiece. It's England leading by 21 points to 15. So Chris Louis, the victor there then of heat number 6. And we've got more international speedway action, of course, coming up from here at Monmore Green straight after the break. Well, welcome back to Monmore Green for this second test between England and the USA. That's how the riders have fared so far. The UK side, Chris Louis scored it in his first outing, but then claiming a victory in his second ride, the last race that we saw before the break. And Joe Screen and Martin Dugard both going well. That's how the United States performers have fared so far. The Three top men, Greg Hancock, Billy Hamill and Ronnie Corrie, all with 4 points apiece. So we've got a situation of England 21, the USA 15, as the riders prepare now for heat number 7. And here we've got Greg Hancock and Charles Ermolenko versus Gary Havelock and Mark Lorham. Those are the helmet colours they wear. It's Gary Havelock in the red. His partner in the blue is Mark Lorham, who's come into the meeting to replace Paul Thorpe, who was injured in heat 5. Ermolenko white, yellow and black, Greg Hancock. And away they go into that first turn, and getting the better of the charge. It looks like the rider in yellow and black. That's Greg Hancock, the early leader. But look at Gary Havelock really dicing up front. So Hancock just about leading from Havelock in second place. Back in third, Charles Ermolenko. Greg Hancock off the mark with a victory in heat 1, and he's followed that with a third place. Well, he's looking for another win here in heat 7. The USA trailing by half a dozen points. Not a bad performance so far from them in these early heats. A third of the meeting we've had. And the Americans, of course, very much depleted tonight. No Sam Ermolenko, no Morans, no Rick Miller. But they're putting up a pretty good performance so far here at Monmore Green. Greg Hancock still continuing to lead all the way. Down goes Charles Ermolenko. Well, he should really know better than that on his own circuit, but he just loses out there chasing the third place, making sure that the bike comes to no serious grief. So Charles takes a tumble. Meanwhile, it's a victory for Greg Hancock. Second, Gary Havelock. Third, Mark Lorham. 3 points apiece. Still pretty tight, just 6 points between the sides. England 24, the USA 18. So we move on to heat number 8 of tonight's International Speedway from Monmore Green. Here's the lineup. It's Kelvin Tatum in the red, Chris Louis in blue, Billy Hamill in white, Donny O'Don in yellow and black. Up go the tapes. Good start from the outside for Tatum, but he's lost it. Driving through is Billy Hamill. Hamill ahead of Tatum. Third place, Chris Louis. So it's the white helmet colour of Billy Hamill which leads the way in heat 8. And the English boys pegged back into second and third places. Well, for Billy Hamill, here he is leading quite comfortably now after that initial charge into the bend. Hamill, number 3 on his back, but well clear. It's his first test series. 21-year-old rides for Cradley, and he really is having an excellent season. Recently won his World Championship semi-final, so he's through to his first ever World Final appearance. And Hamill really carving up the opposition well and truly here in heat number 8. Distinctive style of the little Californian. Billy Hamill heads them home in heat number 8, takes the 3 points. Second, Kelvin Tatum. Third, Chris Louis. Once again, it's a case of 3 points apiece, an all-square heat, and 6 points still England's leading margin. They've got 27, the USA 21. So the riders coming into line now for heat number 9. And here we've got Joe Screen in red, Martin Dugard, his partner in blue. It's Ronnie Corrie in white, Bobby Ott, yellow and black. And this England's best pairing so far tonight. They've had 2 consecutive 5-1s. What can they make of heat 9? Well, they made a good start of it. It's the rider in blue, Dugard, just showing in front. Screen quickly off the mark as well, looking across. And this pair leading from Bobby Ott back in third place. And fourth spot for Ronnie Corrie. Well, he'll make a bit of a fight of it, that's for sure. So the England boys leading it. What can America do about this one? A 5-1 steering at them at the moment. It's Joe Screen in the red helmet colour. Dugard. There he is, just coming into the picture in blue, and they've opened up quite a gap now. Back in third place, Bobby Ott. So this England pairing really firing well tonight, looking for their third successive 5-1. Screen takes the checkered flag comfortably, and Dugard not so far back behind him. Another fine supporting ride by the young man from Oxford, and third spot Bobby Ott. So the gap between the two sides opens up now to 10 points as a result of that 5-1 gained there in heat number 9.
Martin Dugard, you've been involved in some great races. A bit of a habit of the 5-1s for England when you were out there.
Yeah, it's a good habit to be in, actually. Me and Joe were riding good together. It's the first time we've ridden together, so we're sorting ourselves out. We're choosing gates, and everything's working good for us.
England now missing Paul Thorpe with that unfortunate incident, but you've got some good reserves in there tonight.
Yeah, Mark, he's his first time here this year. He's going really well. He had a good first ride. Unlucky he was picked to the line by Billy Hamill. But no, he's going good. The whole side sort of getting together and becoming sort of more of a team than individuals, and that's what we need.
So we move on now to heat number 10 of tonight's action. And it's Kelvin Tatum and Chris Louis, the England pairing. There they are in the red and blue. And for America, Charles Ermolenko is in the white and Greg Hancock in yellow-black. So England leading by 10 points already. One meeting up, of course, in this three-match series, having won by 20 points quite convincingly at Bradford Odsal. Away they go in heat number 10. And as they charge into the turn, it's the rider in red showing first. That's Kelvin Tatum from Greg Hancock. Tatum leads it, but goes wide. Hancock zips through on the inside. Can Tatum come back again? Hancock now leads from Tatum back in second. Third place for the rider in blue, Chris Louis. And these three looking to be well clear of the rider in white. That's Charles Ermolenko. So it's Ermolenko at the rear of the field, younger brother, of course, of Sam, who's injured. Well, Ermolenko is not looking to do too much here in heat number 10, but he has picked up a few points tonight, provided a bit of entertainment as well, as he usually does. He had 6 rides, in fact, in the first test, didn't score at all. So he's, despite looking to be scoreless in this one, has fared rather better this evening. But this fella looks impressive. It's Greg Hancock, a teammate of Billy Hamill's, who has also done well here in this test. Greg Hancock then the winner of heat 10, second place for Kelvin Tatum, third Chris Louis. And that's another 3-3 to the collection, a shared one. England leading by those 10 points. They've got 35, the USA 25. The rear view there of England's number 3, Joe Screen. Martin Dugard, his partner, as always, in blue. It's Billy Hamill and Donny O'Dom, the USA pairing. Here we go, and a good start for Dugard and Screen as well. But Billy Hamill, at the moment, looking to split the England pairing. And that takes some doing here tonight, because this England pairing really have been all-conquering so far. Joe Screen, though, here with a real battle on his hands. It's Dugard who's leading. Hamill has forced his way through to second. And Screen goes wide, loses just a little bit of ground there. And for the first time tonight, this strong England pairing look as if they might have a bit of a match on their hands. Billy Hamill, the man in second place. Screen getting close. So it's Dugard who leads, Hamill second, Screen third. And these three producing plenty of exciting speedway here in heat number 11. Fourth ride, in fact, for Dugard, still unbeaten by an opponent. He's had a couple of wins and a second place behind Screen, and he picks up another victory there. Martin Dugard, a fine winner. What a good night he's having. Second place, Billy Hamill, and pegged back into third position there, Joe Screen. So England have to settle for a 4-2. They up their advantage, though, to 12 points. The gap now between the sides, England 39, the USA 27. Heat 12. Featuring Gary Havelock in the red, Mark Loram, his partner, in blue. For America, Ronnie Corrie in white, Bobby Ott, yellow, black. The tapes rise, and it's a good start from the rider here in red. Although yellow-black, Bobby Ott making his presence felt up front. And it's Mark Loram tucked in there just behind him. Mark Loram in the blue helmet colour, giving chase. Bobby Ott leads. Loram in second. Back there, we just saw Gary Havelock in third. And it looks as if it's Bobiot still holding on from Loram. But a good race here in Heat 12. And Loram with a chance to drive through on the inside. Can he make it? He's through. Loram through on the inside of Bobiot. Just that little mistake there. And it looks as if, in fact, has gone down. So we've got Mark Loram leading. Gary Havelock now up there, of course, in second place. And, well, America picking up a point in third place. England take a 5-1. And they lead now by 44 points to 28. So a 16-point lead for England after 12 races. And for further coverage of this meeting, join us again after the break. Welcome back to Monmore Green for this second test match between England and the USA. The situation when we left it, England 44, the USA 28. That's how the England riders have performed so far. The top man there, Martin Dugard, who's had a couple of wins and 2 fine second places, scored 10. Joe Screen, who's been his riding partner tonight, has never been far away either. He's scored 9 points so far from his 4 outings. And got to make mention there of Paul Thorpe, of course, scored 1 point in his first ride, had a very heavy tumble in his second outing, which has effectively put him out of tonight's meeting, but giving Mark Loram a chance. Well, that's how the United States performers have done so far. Greg Hancock posing England's biggest threat with 10 points. Well, the Americans trailing at the moment by 16 points, but you can never really discount them. They're always colourful and charismatic sort of performers. And for those of you watching with long speedway memories, I'm sure you'll recall how it was Scott Autry back in the 70s who pioneered the transatlantic invasion. Since then, there's been some great performers who've arrived over the years, and none more so, of course, than Bruce Penhall, who won the world individual title at Wembley 10 years ago. Let's see what they make of heat number 13. Joe Screen in red, Martin Dugard, his ever reliable partner in blue, Donny O'Dom in white for the Americans, and Greg Hancock in yellow and black. He's had a good night so far, Greg Hancock, but of course this England pairing really so reliable. So from the inside trap, it's Martin Dugard, gate 1. Position 2 for Greg Hancock, gate 3 for Joe Screen, and Donny O'Dom starts off the outside. Away they go, looking at them head on. And as they venture into the turn, we can see it's the rider in yellow-black, Greg Hancock there, taking up the early running ahead of the England pairing. Hancock leads it from Screen in second, Dugard third. And Hancock rides for Cradley together with Billy Hamill, and this pairing really have been pretty effective for America so far tonight. This young man's also had a good evening in red. It's Joe Screen. He's back there in second place, Dugard in third. So again, we're looking at a 3-3 situation at the moment here in heat number 13. Hancock from Screen and Dugard. And Donny O'Dom on his UK debut just can't get amongst the points. Perhaps a little understandable. His first visit to this country and really thrust right in at the deep end tonight. But good experience for the lad, no doubt. A win then for Greg Hancock in heat number 13. Second, Joe Screen. Third, Martin Dugard. That adds up to a 3-3 situation. And it means that after 13 races, England continue to dominate. They've got 47 points. The USA take their tally to 31. So they come into line for heat number 14 with Gary Havelock in red. Blue is Andy Galvin, given a chance for England here. Billy Hamill rides in white, and it's Charles Ermolenko in yellow-black. So one of the two Sunbright Lions reserves tonight, Andy Galvin, gets a chance. The only Division 2 rider on parade here tonight, rides for the powerful Arena Essex side. Away they go in heat number 14, and a good start for Charles Ermolenko in the yellow-black, and showing up well too is Billy Hamill. So the Americans looking to hit back in heat 14. They're trailing by 16 points. The Americans really can never be discounted. They've got great team spirit in the pits. They really do ride and fight for each other. And this meeting, by the look of it, far from over. So at the halfway stage of Heat 14, it's the Americans looking to hit back with a 5-1. Charles Ermolenko leads from Billy Hamill up there in second place, and these two seemingly well clear of Gary Havelock. And really, we have to say, Charles Ermolenko, the leader, really should know every inch of this Wolverhampton circuit. It's his first season over here. Younger brother of Sam rides at this track, of course, every week. That's a victory there, and a good one too for Charles Ermolenko. Second, Billy Hamill. The two Americans pleased with that 5-1. Third place, it was Gary Havelock, and the Americans hitting back. The gap cut to 12 points. It's England 48, the USA 36. On we go to Heat 15. Kelvin Tatum in red, blue Chris Louis, in white Ronnie Corrie, and in yellow and black Bobby Ott. Perhaps had a little bit of a disappointing night so far, Bobby Ott, the Eastbourne rider, by his own usual high standards. He's known as Showtime. That's his nickname because of his very flamboyant nature. Well, let's see what sort of start Bobby Ott makes here. He's in yellow-black, starts off the outside. He's got away well too. Bobby Ott leads it from the rider in red, Kelvin Tatum. In second place, Chris Louis also well placed as they go into the turn. Coming under a bit of pressure then, the rider in yellow and black, Bobby Ott, but holding off the challenge so far. Ott leads. Second, Chris Louis. And Tatum tucked in there as well. Tatum, in fact, now up to second place. The two England boys sticking pretty close together, keeping Ronnie Corrie at bay so far. So we're looking here at a 3-3 situation. Bobby Ott looking for his first race win of the night. Ott, Tatum, Louis the front three, and Corrie so far no way through. See England pairing, Tatum and Louis. And a bit of pressure being exerted by Corrie. The race by no means over, but it looks as if Bobby Ott set for those first 3 points of the night. So a close call at the line in heat number 15, but it was a victory for Bobby Ott. Second, Chris Louis. Third, Ronnie Corrie. He just got up. So it's a 4-2 for the USA, and the gap now down to just 10 points. England 50, America 40 points, and highly pleased with that win. There he is on his way back, Bobby Ott. So the riders coming into line for heat number 16, 10 points now, the gap between the sides. Here they are coming up to the tapes. For England, it's Gary Havelock and Mark Loram. For America, it's Charles Ermolenko and Greg Hancock. Those are the helmet colours for them. Gary Havelock in the red, Mark Loram in blue, Charles Ermolenko white. Certainly did well in his last outing. And Greg Hancock, who's had a good night, he's in yellow-black. This could be a very, very tight one indeed. Heat number 16, away they go. Who's the first to show? It looks like the rider in red, that's Gary Havelock. Havelock leads it from the two Americans, going wide around the outside. The rider in white, Charles Ermolenko, getting the drive on the outside line. And it's Ermolenko just 2 leads from Havelock. The early pace setter, Gary Havelock, picked back to second position. And now he's got a problem holding off the challenge of Greg Hancock. Hancock pushing hard also around the outside. Ermolenko leads. Hancock now up to second place. Fast, furious action here in heat number 16, with the Americans really in full cry. The gap before this race, 10 points between the sides. The Americans looking to cut that gap down even further. They're on a 5-1 at the moment, if they can keep Havelock at bay. Hancock in yellow and black, glancing back all the time, watching out for Charles Ermolenko, who just holds on for a vital second place for the Americans. Well, it's getting tight. 16 races completed. We've got 2 to go. It's a 5-1 for America. And suddenly England, who seem to be cruising it, have now been pegged back to just 6 points. England 51, the USA 45. Good performances there from Hancock and So a real spirited revival here from the Americans. They were 16 points in arrears 3 heats ago. That gap is now down to just 6 points. Heat number 17 we go into. There are just these 2 races remaining. So we're building up to a pretty fair old climax here at Monmore Green tonight. A little bit of gardening being done there by Chris Louis, making sure that he gets the fullest possible drive from the start. There's the rider in white, that's Billy Hamill. He's had a good night for America. Charles Ermolenko, yellow-black, his partner, and it's Kelvin Tatum in the red for England. Tatum, Louis, Hamill and Ermolenko, a crucial heat number 17. Away they go, and a good start by Louis, but the Americans also away well too. And it's the USA now in first and second positions. Well, 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 what a comeback by the USA. Chris Louis doing his utmost to keep Charles Ermolenko at bay. Hamill's leading, Louis second, Ermolenko in third, and Tatum nowhere. So it's left to Chris Louis to fly the English flag really in heat number 17. The Americans really now with a bit between their teeth. Billy Hamill showing a clean back wheel to Chris Louis, who's in second. And Louis with a big responsibility really here to hold that second place and to keep Ermolenko back in third. So Billy Hamill's had a couple of seconds and a third, and he takes the checkered flag there as the winner of heat number 17. Louis did well to hold second. Third place, Charles Ermolenko, but it's a 4-2 that goes to America. And just look now at how close those scores are. England 53, America 49. Well, I'm sure we're in for a nervy last heat. England seem to have it comfortably sewn up. Just 1 race remaining, 4 points the gap. We'll be right back after the break for this dramatic conclusion. So welcome back to Monmore Green for the final piece of decisive action here in this second test.
Charles Ermolenko, America need a 5-1 for a draw. A lot of pressure on the boys now.
Yeah, the last race it was like 3 on the trot for me, so I was a little tired and I hit that corner and kind of, so now it's up to these guys to go out there and get the 5-1, and hopefully we'll get it and we'll draw and we'll be into that.
You've had a marvellous meeting really when you consider that you've been out without Sam Ermolenko, without Kelly Moran.
Yeah, it's been tough. I mean, all the guys here today are just kind of, the majority of the group here is all young blood, you know, Billy, Greg, and myself. This being my first year. Those guys got a little bit more at it out here, so I'm just trying to keep up the anchor part of it, and without Kelly and Sam, it's kind of hard to keep it going.
You come in tonight as a reserve. You've ended up with 7 rides.
Yeah, the last ride I was a little tired, and it was a little hard to hold on to the bike. I just wanted to get through it, but yeah, I mean, being a reserve at my home track is a good advantage. If Kelly and Sam would have been here, we probably would have been a whole different story.
Well, young Charles there didn't score in the first test, but he's certainly done well here tonight. Played an effective part for the Americans, who now find themselves 4 points behind with just this 1 scheduled race remaining. It's heat number 18. The Americans seemingly dead and buried at one stage, 16 points adrift, but they've now hauled themselves right back into the reckoning. And they've got a couple of customers here who they'll fancy could perhaps do the business for them. They parade Ronnie Corrie, home track specialist, of course, and Bobby Ott. The England hopes, meanwhile, relying on their most reliable duos tonight. As it's turned out, that's Martin Dugard and Joe Screen. So what a race we've got here to finish this second test here at Monmore Green. The third one still to come at Swindon. And England one up, having won by 20 points in the first encounter at Bradford. So the USA needing a 5-1 here to square it on the night. Anything other than that, and it's an England win. Joe Screen then in red, Martin Dugard in blue, Ronnie Corrie in white, and Bobby Ott yellow-black. That's the lineup for the all-important heat number 18. And credit to the Americans for really getting themselves back into contention. So nothing less than a 5-1 will do for America. Any other heat result, and it's a victory for England, which will put them 2 up in this 3-match series. The first series, incidentally, in this country between these two sides for a couple of seasons. Bobby Ott there on the inside. Next to him, Joe Screen, then it's Ronnie Corry, and it's Dugard in the blue over on the far outside. Coming into line, bound to be a little nervy and very, very tense down there on the starting line. The starting marshal saying, just go back again, let's have you back into line once more. And it's all just adding to the nervousness, I'm sure, of the occasion. Heat number 18, it's England 53, the USA 49. And away they go, and leading the charge into the first turn, it's the rider in white, Ronnie Corry, who leads it. And up in second place is Bobby Ott. It's a 5-1 that America need, of course. And Ott's lost his second, he's lost his third. The England boys powering through. Screen went first, then Dugard. England powering their way through on the inside of Bobby Ott, but Bobby Ott hitting back again. Ott back into his third place, but not for long. Dugard up in third. Ott, what a battle between these pair. Dugard holding third place. Ott certainly not giving up, but he has to now. Hits the fence in a rather untidy sort of heap. Slid right through, overcooked it completely. Well, there's Dugard on the inside and Bobby Ott around the outside. And Ott's just losing control completely and taking a fair bit of a hammering there as he clouts the fence. Well, Bobby Ott, as you can see on his return to the pits, absolutely furious with himself, really, I would imagine, for losing control there in heat number 18. I'm sure no blame can be attached to Dugard. That's the way the referee reads it. He's excluded Bobby Ott as being the cause of the stoppage. So we've got a rerun, just 3 riders, and Bobby Ott back in the pits, knowing that that tumble has cost America the chance of grabbing a draw here tonight. It's handed it now, surely, to England. Away they go then for the second time of asking in the rerun of heat number 18. And Corry, as he did before, makes the start. Corry leads it from Dugard, Screen in third. So we're looking at a 3-3 situation, and a situation, if it stays like this, which will be good enough to give England an overall win. The little Wolverhampton heat leader, who's just made it through to the World Final, despite having a few problems in his semi-final, in which he was controversially excluded by the referee from one outing. But he's through to Gothenburg, and he's leading here in the last race. He's done his bit for America tonight. 1 lap remaining for the 3 riders in heat 18. Corry leading it comfortably. Dugard's in second place, Joe Screen third. Both these Englishmen have performed very, very well here at Wolverhampton tonight. There's a checkered flag then for Ronnie Corry, the winner of heat 18. Second, Dugard, third, Screen. Heat number 18, it's a 3-3 situation, and that's good enough to provide England with a win, but only just. 56 points for the Sunbright Lions and 52 points for the USA after staging that quite remarkable recovery. Those then are the England scorers. Martin Dugard leading the way there, as we can see, with 14 points. A magnificent haul for the young Oxford rider. And what a night too for Joe Screen, 18 years of age. He gained 11 points. And really, that's a fine contribution for England. Kelvin Tatum 6, Chris Louis 9, Joe Screen then 11, Martin Dugard 14, Gary Havelock 9, Paul Thorpe 1, and Mark Loram scored 6. Andy Galvin had just the 1 ride, but failed to score. Here we can see the USA performers and how they fared individually. Charles Ermolenko 7, Greg Hancock 16, Billy Hamill 14, Donny O'Dom, his first appearance in this country. He had 5 outings, invaluable experience, I'm sure, for the young Californian, but failing to score. Ronnie Corry 8, and Bobby Ott scored 7. So England go 2 up in this 3-match series against the USA here at Monmore Green tonight. The Sunbright Lions, despite losing Paul Thorpe in Heat 5, look to be coasting it for much of the match, but the USA mounted a late revival to produce a close final scoreline of England 56, the USA 52. From Monmore Green here at Wolverhampton, good night.